You think you know what expensive looks like. Marble floors, fancy cafes, euros leaving your wallet faster than you can count them. Then you check the numbers for Malaysia, and your brain does a complete reset. Same experience, same quality, but your wallet barely feels it. This comparison is about to flip everything you thought you knew about value travel on its head. So here's what we're doing. We're breaking down real prices, real experiences, and real comparisons between Paris and Malaysia. By the end of this, you'll see exactly where your money goes in both places, and why the gap between them is absolutely massive. Some of these price differences will genuinely shock you, especially when you realize the quality is the same, sometimes even better, for a fraction of the cost. Let's get started. Picture this: two destinations, both offering world-class food, iconic attractions, bustling street life, and memories you'll never forget. But one will drain your bank account before you finish your first week. The other lets you live like royalty while barely touching your savings. The difference is so extreme that when you see the actual numbers, you'll probably think there's a mistake. There isn't. Let's start with something simple: your morning coffee. In Paris, you walk into a cafe near any major landmark. An espresso at the counter costs you €2.50. Want to sit down inside? That same tiny cup jumps to €3. Sit outside on the terrace where you can people watch? Now you're paying €4 or more. A cappuccino or latte at a decent coffee shop runs you between €4.50 to €5.80. That's roughly $6 to $7 for your morning caffeine fix. Malaysia flips this completely. A local kopi at a neighborhood kopitiam costs you ringgit. That's less than 50 cents. Even at a trendy specialty cafe in Kuala Lumpur, serving the same quality beans with the same latte art, you're paying 12 ringgit, which is about $3.
You can have coffee every single morning in Malaysia for what you'd spend on 2 days of coffee in Paris. The math already doesn't make sense, and we're just getting started. Breakfast tells the same story, but amplified. Paris breakfast culture is beautiful, no question. A croissant from a decent boulangerie costs €1.50 to €2. Add a pain au chocolat, and you're at €3 to €4. Want something more substantial? Eggs, toast, and juice at a cafe? Expect to pay €15 to €20. That's $18 to $24 before your day even begins. Malaysian breakfast culture is legendary for a reason. Nasi lemak, the national dish, costs you 3 to 5 ringgit at a local stall. That's 70 cents to $1.20 for rice cooked in coconut milk, sambal, egg, anchovies, peanuts, and cucumber. Roti canai with curry? 2 to 3 ringgit, 50 cents. Even a substantial breakfast at a proper restaurant rarely exceeds 15 ringgit, which is $3.50. You eat like royalty in Malaysia for what buys you a single croissant in Paris. Now lunch. This is where the gap becomes almost absurd. Paris lunch at a bistro starts around 15 to €20 for the plat du jour. A proper sit-down meal with starter and main course? 25 to €35 easily. That's $30 to $42 for a standard lunch. Tourist areas near the Louvre or Eiffel Tower push those prices even higher. 40 to €50 for lunch in those zones is completely normal. Malaysian lunch at a hawker center runs you 8 to 15 ringgit. That's $2 to $3.50 for massive portions of char kway teow, nasi kandar, laksa, chicken rice, or any of the incredible dishes Malaysia offers. You can eat until you're uncomfortably full for the price of a single appetizer in Paris. Mid-range restaurants serving the same quality food charge 20 to 30 ringgit, which is $5 to $7. You're comparing $40 lunches to $3 lunches of equal quality. Let that sink in. Dinner makes everything even more dramatic. Paris dinner at a decent restaurant starts at €30 per person for just the main course. Add a starter, dessert, and wine? You're easily looking at 50 to €70 per person. That's $60 to $85 for dinner. Nicer restaurants push past €100 per person without even touching Michelin territory. A couple can easily spend €150 on a nice dinner without trying. Malaysia serves you incredible dinners for 10 to 20 ringgit at local spots. That's $2.50 to $5. A seafood dinner at a proper restaurant with fresh fish, prawns, and vegetables? 50 to 80 ringgit for enough food for 2 people. That's $12 to $19 total, not per person. You can have an absolute feast in Malaysia for what you'd pay for a single glass of wine in Paris. The comparison stops making sense because the gap is just too wide. Transportation differences hit just as hard. Paris metro tickets cost €2.20 per journey. A carnet of 10 tickets runs €14.90. That's about $16 for 10 rides. Taking a taxi? €7 just to start the meter, then €2.20 per kilometer. A 15-minute taxi ride easily costs 15 to 20 euros. Getting around Paris adds up fast, and there's no way around it. Malaysia public transport is ridiculously cheap. Kuala Lumpur LRT and MRT trains cost between 1 to 3 ringgit per journey. That's 25 to 75 cents. A full day of train travel costs less than what a single Paris metro ticket costs. Grab rides, which work just like Uber, charge 6 to 12 ringgit for trips that would cost 20 to 30 euros in Paris taxis. You're looking at $1.50 to $3 for the same distance that costs $15 to $20 in Paris. Accommodation shows the exact same massive gap. Paris budget hotels start around 80 to 100 euros per night. That's $90 to $115 for basic rooms in outer areas. Central Paris hotels? 150 to 250 euros per night easily. Luxury hotels push past 400 euros, and we're talking about the same international chains you find everywhere. Malaysia budget hotels in Kuala Lumpur run 50 to 80 ringgit per night. That's $12 to $19 for decent, clean rooms with air conditioning in good locations. Mid-range hotels with great central locations cost 100 to 150 ringgit, which is $24 to $36. Luxury 5-star hotels that would cost 400 euros in Paris? They're 200 to 300 ringgit in Malaysia, which is $48 to $72. Same 5-star quality, same international brands, 1/6 of the price. This pattern keeps repeating everywhere you look. Attractions and sightseeing reveal another huge difference. The Louvre costs 22 euros. Eiffel Tower tickets run 35 euros for summit access. Versailles costs 20 euros. Arc de Triomphe is 13 euros. A day of sightseeing in Paris easily costs 70 to 100 euros per person just in entrance fees, before you've eaten anything or taken any transport. Malaysia temples and mosques are mostly free. Batu Caves? Free entry. Major temples? Usually free or 2 to 5 ringgit donations. National Mosque? Free. The Petronas Twin Towers viewing deck costs 85 ringgit, about $20, but most attractions cost nothing or very little. Museums charge 10 to 30 ringgit, which is $2.50 to $7. Theme parks like Sunway Lagoon cost 190 ringgit, about $45, for all-day access to multiple parks. You're getting full days of entertainment for what a single Paris museum charges. Let's talk about a realistic day budget, because this is where everything comes together. Paris typical day for one person. Breakfast, croissant and coffee, 6 euros. Metro to attractions, 5 euros. Lunch at bistro, 25 euros. Museum entrance, 15 euros. Afternoon coffee, 4 euros. Dinner at restaurant, 40 euros. Evening metro, 2 euros 20. Total, 97 euros 20, which is about $112 per day, and that's being conservative with no shopping or extras. Malaysia typical day for one person. Nasi lemak breakfast, 3 ringgit. Train travel all day, 5 ringgit. Hawker Center lunch, 10 ringgit. Major attraction entrance, 20 ringgit. Afternoon bubble tea, 8 ringgit. Restaurant dinner, 25 ringgit. Grab ride home, 8 ringgit. Total, 79 ringgit, which is $19. Same quality day, same experiences, 1/6 of the cost. Scale this over a week. Paris week costs 680 euros, roughly $785. Malaysia week costs 553 ringgit, which is $133. You can stay almost 3 weeks in Malaysia for the price of 1 week in Paris. 3 times longer, same quality experiences, and you're still spending less. Entertainment and nightlife show similar patterns. Paris River Cruise on the Seine costs 15 to 30 euros. A cabaret show starts at 90 euros per person. Concert tickets range from 30 to 100 euros. Movie tickets cost 12 to 15 euros. A night out at bars with drinks easily reaches 60 to 100 euros per person because drinks cost 8 to 15 euros each. Malaysia entertainment is dramatically cheaper. River cruises cost 20 to 40 ringgit, about $5 to $10. Movie tickets cost 12 to 18 ringgit, which is $3 to $4 for the same Hollywood blockbusters.
Rooftop bars in Kuala Lumpur with spectacular skyline views charge 15 to 30 ringgit per drink, which is $3.50 to $7. Same views, comparable ambiance, fraction of the cost. You can have 5 full nights out in Malaysia for 1 night in Paris. Street food culture shows possibly the starkest contrast between the two. Paris street food exists, but it's not cheap. A crepe costs 5 to 7 euros. A kebab runs 6 to 9 euros. Falafel sandwiches are 7 to 10 euros. You're looking at minimum $8 to $10 for street food that fills you up for 1 meal. Malaysian street food is an absolute institution. Satay sticks cost 1 ringgit each. Char kway teow from a legendary hawker costs 8 ringgit. Chendol dessert costs 3 ringgit. You can eat 3 full street food meals in Malaysia for the price of 1 Paris kebab. The quality difference? Malaysia street food often surpasses restaurant quality because hawkers specialize in single dishes perfected over decades. This is their craft, their legacy, and it shows in every bite. Groceries tell the same story if you're staying somewhere with a kitchen. Paris supermarket bread costs €1.50. Cheese starts at 8 euros per kilo for decent quality. Fresh vegetables are expensive compared to local wages. A week of groceries for basic meals costs 60 to 80 euros. You're spending serious money just to cook at home. Malaysia supermarkets sell bread for 2 to 4 ringgit, less than $1. Fresh tropical fruits are incredibly cheap. Mangoes, papayas, rambutans cost 2 to 5 ringgit per kilo. A week of groceries runs 40 to 60 ringgit, which is $10 to $15. Same amount of food, 1/7 of the price, and you're getting tropical fruits that cost a fortune in Paris if you can even find them fresh. Food variety deserves special attention because this is where Malaysia pulls way ahead. Paris excels at French cuisine. The bread, cheese, wine, and pastries are genuinely unmatched. Fine dining reaches extraordinary heights, but eating the same cuisine daily for weeks gets repetitive. Venturing into other cuisines in Paris means paying even higher prices at ethnic restaurants. Malaysia offers insane food diversity within one country. Malay, Chinese, Indian, Indonesian, Thai, Japanese, Korean cuisines all coexist authentically. You can eat different ethnic food every single day without leaving the country. Penang alone is considered one of Asia's food capitals. This variety is built into Malaysian identity because the country itself is multicultural. This prevents food fatigue while maintaining those incredibly low costs. You never get bored, and your wallet never gets stressed. Shopping and souvenirs follow the exact same pattern. Paris shopping is legendary but expensive. A souvenir Eiffel Tower costs 8 to 15 euros. Designer goods carry their full luxury prices. Even small keepsakes add up quickly. If you want quality French products, you pay premium prices. Malaysia markets sell incredible handicrafts cheaply. Batik fabric costs 20 to 50 ringgit. Local art and crafts run 10 to 30 ringgit. Pewter products that Malaysia is famous for cost 30 to 100 ringgit depending on size. You can buy meaningful, high-quality souvenirs for less money. The craftsmanship is often higher than mass-produced Paris tourist items because these are actual artisans, not tourist trap vendors. Weather and climate create interesting value dynamics. Paris weather is beautiful in spring and fall, but summers can be uncomfortably hot and winters are cold and gray. You need different wardrobes for different seasons, which means packing more or buying clothes there. Hotels charge premium rates during peak summer months. Off-season discounts exist, but weather becomes less reliable. Malaysia maintains consistent tropical weather year-round. Temperatures stay between 25 to 35 Celsius. You pack one type of clothing. Prices stay relatively stable throughout the year except major holidays. You know exactly what weather to expect, making planning easier and reducing clothing costs. This consistency adds hidden value that's easy to overlook. Language creates another important comparison. Paris requires some French to navigate comfortably outside tourist zones. Many Parisians speak English but noticeably appreciate French attempts. Language barriers can add stress and occasional costs when miscommunication happens with taxis, restaurants, or shops. Malaysia uses English as a widely spoken second language. Signs are bilingual everywhere. Most service staff in cities speak English fluently. Navigation becomes easier. Ordering food is simpler. Reading menus makes sense. This removes a significant barrier that can cost time and sometimes money through misunderstandings. The ease of communication adds value that's hard to quantify, but very real. Safety factors into overall value in ways people don't always calculate. Paris is generally safe, but tourist areas have aggressive pickpockets. You need to stay constantly alert. Some neighborhoods feel uncomfortable after dark. This doesn't cost money directly, but it affects peace of mind and can result in losses if you're not careful. Malaysia is remarkably safe for travelers. Crime rates in tourist areas are low. Locals are incredibly friendly and genuinely helpful. You can walk around cities at night with minimal concern. Women traveling solo report feeling very safe. This intangible safety adds significant value to the experience that doesn't show up in price comparisons, but matters enormously. Healthcare costs matter if something goes wrong during travel. Paris healthcare is excellent but expensive for non-EU visitors. A doctor visit costs 50 to 100 euros. Prescriptions add more. Emergency care can be very expensive. Travel insurance becomes absolutely essential, which adds to your total costs. Malaysia healthcare is genuinely world-class and surprisingly affordable. Doctor consultations cost 50 to 100 ringgit, which is $12 to $24. Quality is excellent. Many doctors trained internationally. Even without insurance, medical costs remain manageable. This provides peace of mind without the financial stress of wondering what happens if you get sick. Spa treatments and wellness show the same incredible gaps. Paris massage costs 70 to 120 euros for 60 minutes. Spa treatments at hotels cost even more. You're paying luxury prices for what should be a relaxing experience. Malaysia traditional massage costs 60 to 100 ringgit for 90 minutes, which is $14 to $24. You get longer treatments for less than 1/4 of Paris prices. Quality is often comparable or better because Malaysia has centuries of massage tradition. Thai, Malay, Chinese massage techniques are all available. This is part of the culture, not just a tourist service. Digital nomad perspective adds interesting angles for anyone working remotely. Paris costs make remote work difficult unless you're earning significant income. Even sharing apartments, monthly costs easily exceed 2,000 euros. Co-working spaces add another 100 to 200 euros monthly. The city is beautiful, but financially stressful for remote workers on average incomes. Malaysia has exploded as a digital nomad destination precisely because costs remain manageable on typical remote salaries. Monthly room rental in Kuala Lumpur costs 800 to 1,500 ringgit, which is $190 to $360. Co-working spaces cost 300 to 500 ringgit monthly, about $70 to $120. You can live comfortably on $1,500 to $2,000 monthly, working remotely while exploring Southeast Asia. The quality of life is high, and stress about money disappears. Tipping culture affects your daily costs in ways that add up. Paris includes service charges and bills, but small tips are appreciated. 5 to 10% is standard for exceptional service. This adds 5 to 10 euros daily. Not huge amounts individually, but over weeks, it accumulates. Malaysia doesn't have strong tipping culture. Service charge is usually included where applicable. Tipping is appreciated, but genuinely not expected. Nobody gives you dirty looks for not tipping. This removes one daily expense that quietly drains your budget over time. The price you see is the price you pay. Internet connectivity matters for modern travel. Paris has Wi-Fi in many places, but mobile data is expensive for tourists. Tourist SIM cards cost 30 to 50 euros for decent data packages.
Staying connected costs real money. Malaysia tourist SIM cards with generous data packages cost 30 ringgit, about $7. Internet speeds are excellent throughout the country. Coverage is reliable even in smaller towns. You stay connected for a fraction of Paris costs. This matters more than ever when you need maps, translation apps, and communication tools constantly. Family travel considerations reveal even bigger gaps. Paris with kids is genuinely expensive. Children's menus cost 12 to 20 euros. Attractions charge separate fees for kids. Theme parks like Disneyland Paris cost upwards of 60 euros per child. Keeping children entertained and fed burns through budgets at alarming speeds. Malaysia welcomes families economically. Kids' portions at hawker centers cost 3 to 8 ringgit. Many attractions offer family packages or free entry for young children. Theme parks like Legoland provide full-day entertainment for reasonable rates. A family of 4 can vacation comfortably in Malaysia for what 2 adults spend in Paris. The stress of constantly monitoring spending disappears. Activity costs paint the same picture everywhere you look. Paris cooking class costs 80 to 150 euros. Wine tasting tours run 50 to 100 euros. Walking tours are 20 to 40 euros per person. Museum workshops cost 30 to 60 euros. Every activity adds significant expense. Malaysia cooking classes in Penang or Kuala Lumpur cost 80 to 150 ringgit, which is $19 to $36. Same hands-on experience, same quality instruction, 1/4 of the price. Jungle trekking tours cost 50 to 100 ringgit. Island hopping tours cost 60 to 120 ringgit. Snorkeling trips cost 40 to 80 ringgit. You can do multiple activities in Malaysia for the cost of one activity in Paris. Duration flexibility shows another massive advantage. Paris costs 4 shorter trips for most people. 5 to 7 days is typical because every day costs so much that extending feels financially irresponsible for average travelers. You see the highlights, you take the photos, you leave before you run out of money. Malaysia affordability allows much longer stays. You can comfortably spend 2 to 4 weeks without breaking your budget. This extra time means deeper experiences. You explore beyond tourist zones. You understand the culture better. You make local friends. You discover hidden gems that rush tourists miss. Value compounds over time because daily costs remain consistently low. The memories become richer because you're not stressed about every euro spent. The honest truth that needs saying. Paris offers something genuinely special. The romance, the history, the artistic legacy, the architectural beauty, the cultural significance cannot be dismissed. Paris has earned its reputation as one of the world's greatest cities. If experiencing Paris is on your bucket list, you absolutely should go. The memories and experiences justify the cost for what Paris uniquely offers. Nobody's saying Paris is bad or not worth visiting. But here's what also needs saying.
Malaysia offers comparable quality experiences across almost every category at a fraction of Paris prices. The food is arguably better and definitely more diverse. The people are warmer and more welcoming. The weather is more consistent and comfortable. The culture is equally rich, though different. The nature is more diverse. The beaches are spectacular. The value is incomparably superior. These are just facts when you look at the numbers. The numbers genuinely don't lie. You spend 5 to 8 times more in Paris for similar quality experiences. A $3,000 Paris vacation becomes a $600 Malaysia vacation. Same adventure level, same memory creation, wildly different price tags. For young travelers, families, retirees, or anyone budget-conscious, the math becomes impossible to ignore once you see it clearly. This isn't about declaring one destination superior to the other. They offer different experiences. Paris provides European sophistication, legendary art museums, historical depth, and that French atmosphere that truly is magical. Malaysia offers tropical paradise, cultural fusion, incredible food diversity, genuine warmth from locals, and value that seems almost unbelievable until you experience it yourself. The choice depends entirely on what you value personally. If experiencing Paris is a lifelong dream and budget exists, absolutely go to Paris. The experience is worth it. Seeing the Eiffel Tower, walking through the Louvre,
sitting at a cafe watching Parisian life. These are irreplaceable experiences. Nobody should skip Paris just because of money if they can afford it. But if you want amazing travel experiences while making your money go significantly further, while eating possibly the best food in the world, while feeling welcomed everywhere you go, while having beaches and mountains and cities all easily accessible, Malaysia makes perfect sense.
The value proposition is almost ridiculous when you see the actual numbers side by side. The shocking part honestly isn't that Paris costs more. Everyone expects European cities to be expensive. The shocking part is exactly how much more and how little quality you sacrifice by choosing Malaysia instead. You're not downgrading to a budget destination with lower standards. You're getting equal or better quality for dramatically less money. That realization changes how you think about travel planning entirely. What this comparison really reveals is that travel value isn't about sacrificing quality for price. It's about understanding where your money delivers the most experience per dollar spent. Paris extracts maximum euros for everything because demand is high and they can charge it. Malaysia provides maximum experience for minimum ringgit because costs are genuinely lower, not because quality is worse. Both approaches are completely valid. Both destinations are incredible, but one lets you travel longer, explore deeper, and stress less about money while you're there. Looking at it another way, the same budget that gives you 1 week in Paris gives you 3 weeks in Malaysia. Same money, triple the time, equal or better quality. Or put differently, you can experience Malaysia fully and still have enough money left over for another destination entirely. The financial flexibility is enormous and opens up possibilities that just don't exist when you're spending Paris prices. The value gap extends beyond just the numbers on receipts. It's in the attitude you travel with. In Paris, you're constantly calculating, should I sit down for coffee or walk? Can I afford this museum too? Should we skip dinner at a restaurant? Every decision involves financial stress. The beauty is there, but the anxiety about costs shadows every choice. In Malaysia, that stress vanishes. You sit down for coffee without thinking twice. You eat at any restaurant that looks interesting. You take Grab everywhere instead of walking in the heat. You say yes to activities without calculating budgets first. This freedom to experience without constant financial anxiety is worth more than people realize until they feel it. Travel becomes enjoyable rather than stressful. Your money, your choice, your adventure. Now you know exactly what each ringgit and each euro buys you in both places. The difference is massive and undeniable. The value gap is real and documented. Thousands of travelers are making the choice that lets them travel more, experience more, and stress less about money. The numbers have spoken clearly. Malaysia wins the value battle by an absolute knockout. The question isn't whether Malaysia offers better value. The numbers prove it does. The real question is whether Paris's unique magic is worth paying 5 to 8 times more for the same duration of travel. For some people, absolutely yes. Paris is Paris and nothing else compares to that specific experience. For others, when they see these numbers, the answer becomes crystal clear. Either way, you're now equipped to make that decision with your eyes wide open to exactly what you're getting for your money in both places. No more guessing, no more assumptions, just clear facts about what things actually cost. Whether you choose the romance of Paris or the value of Malaysia, at least now you know exactly what you're paying for and what you're getting in return. Help us keep making videos like this by subscribing and hitting that like button. If you want more destination comparisons breaking down real costs, drop a comment below telling us which places you want compared next. Thanks for watching, and whichever destination you choose, travel smart and make every dollar count.